you get up there, and there's certain you got to go up. You got to like go up the tower. And I know there's a way that there's 2 points in the tower. I know there's a way to do it, but I can't get it down. But there's 2 points where I have to take damage. Otherwise, I'm never going to make it up there. So I take damage. You're trying to fight these enemies on these little fucking platforms. And then you get up there, and you fight a mid-boss before... You fight a boss before the Joker. And I'm pulling it up to see who it is. Because the characters in the game... There are Batman characters, but it's weird. Like Firefly's in the game as a boss. The Electrocutioner's in the game as a boss. Firebug is the one. Firebug is the boss right before Joker.
Yeah.
Now you tell me in the Tim Burton Batman movie, where was Firefly, Firebug, and Electrocutioner? No, it's Killer Moth. I mean Killer Moth. Not Firefly, it's Killer Moth.
I would have sworn that there was some sort of backhanded reference or like background introduction of one of those other villains, but I can't remember where I heard that or if it's true or not.
So you beat Firebug, and then you go right to the Joker. Well, the good thing is if you beat Firebug and you die on the Joker, and you have to go through the whole level again, Firebug's still dead. You don't have to fight Firebug again. So you go right to the Joker. Well, the Joker, first of all, his gunshot will take 3 to 4 hit points away from you like that, like right off the bat if he hits you with your gun. And then the Joker...
Does he look like the Jack Nicholson Joker in the game?
He looks like the Joker. I mean, he's got the big purple suit on and everything. He kind of looks more like Cesar Romero Joker, but he also stands like 2 feet taller than the Batman character. But the Joker can also summon lightning in the game.
Yeah.
He can summon down.
Yeah, I know I played that game, but I never got near that level on it. I must have gave up long before I got
like 2 hours. I mean, literally 2 hours, and finally I got him down to where I mimic his moves. I get right up to his gun to where he can't really shoot me, and I just spam the Batarang, which is another thing in this final level because you have to make sure you get you max out your weapons to 99. Because you need every fucking Batarang. It takes literally. I think from the picture. I had 99 Batarangs going in, and I think I ended with 43 when I finally killed Joker. So it took that many Batarangs to fucking kill this dude. So I'm sitting there, and I'm at 1 point of health left. I'm like, fuck. And all of a sudden, he just slumps over. I'm like, sitting there with my controller in my hand, what? So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta grab my phone, because if you don't have proof, it didn't happen. So I grab my phone and I just start snapping pictures, and and I make sure that people can see it's on my TV. It's not like my computer. I'm not emulating it. It's on my fucking TV here, and I'm just like, holy fuck. I'm like, shit, dude, I fucking.
There is a difference between beating something now as opposed to beating something like that, because. Even on PlayStation, when I first beat Resident Evil 2. When I finally beat that boss down on the train card thing with the rocket launchers, I remember just flipping. I spent 12 hours straight playing that game without eating or moving, and just played Resident Evil 2 for 12 hours. And it might have even been longer than that. I don't remember. I just remember just sitting on my bed just playing it forever. And when I finally beat it, I just remember just freezing and just watching the final animax. And it's so frustrating with Resident Evil because when the game's over, you gotta wait for those credits, the whole credits, because I'm waiting, thinking maybe something else, especially on Resident Evil 2. I thought maybe something else was gonna happen because the credits start rolling. And
an epilogue or something that.
Yeah, there's something, nothing, and then just gives you your score. But, it's so exciting to finally, especially if you spend a lot of hours doing it.
Especially these games, if you played them as a kid, when you were 6, 7 years old, you're playing it, and you really didn't know what you were doing, and now that and then you would go back to them periodically through your your life, and you're you still couldn't beat them, and then one night, just the stars align, it's a blue moon, Gemini is in freaking full view, and you just and that's the way it's been. That was how it was with Ninja Gaiden, because Ninja Gaiden's it's not so much the last boss is a bitch, it's the fact that the whole game's a fucking bitch. You know, and now it's like I've gone back through after I beat Punch-Out. I've been going back through, just periodically, because it's one of those games where like if I got like 5 minutes, I'll see how many people I can get through, in like in that time frame I got to play a game. So I'm getting it like down to where I can get up to like Soda Pop Imsky in probably like 10 minutes, just fucking rapid fire. But beating Batman, I was just like, oh, I can, because that's what I've been practicing on. I've been playing that one for probably a good 6 months, just like ever since I bought it, just like playing it, and I finally did it. So now now I got 2 here that I'm working on. I'm working on Tiny Toon Adventures, which before I had to turn it off today, I got to level 4 out of 6, and then I got Rygar. So those are 2 that I'm looking at that I'm testing right now, just to have fun with. So
I remember recently one of the ones one of the Poison Ivy levels in is it Arkham City or I can't remember which one of the Arkham games it is, but the Poison Ivy level we got to keep going up the levels.
Yeah.
And oh man, that took me forever to finally beat that. I'm surprised the neighbors didn't call the cops on me when I finally beat that. Go, yeah, you motherfucker! Fuck
that's
you.
Like when we both. That's like when we both bought Arkham Knight and we started playing Arkham Knight, and I was like getting farther from you, and you're like, I can't beat the fucking Batmobile level. It's like the fucking Batmobile part. And then you finally did.
Those games are the best and some of the most frustrating like puzzles sometimes. Like some of the Riddler shit drives me crazy.
Yeah, that shit drives me nuts. But nowadays we can just go online and say, "Oh, that's how you do it."
Yeah, well, yeah, that was. I remember when with Resident Evil, I think it was Resident Evil 2. I had to go buy the book for some part of it because I could not figure it out for the life of me how to get a couple of the items that you needed, like one of the keys or something. I was like forever stuck on it, and then you couldn't. There was no like online to go get that shit. So you had to like go buy a book. They sold those books, like the
Brady Games books and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, Chief and I have been discussing this week, and we've decided that this year, 2018, we are going to start educating the masses. We're going to bring you into our classroom, the comic classroom, and we're going to start talking and educating you about comic book characters, comic book teams, things like that. That way people understand more about these characters. And we're not going to go through, this is Captain America. We're going to have a couple of those type of key characters, but a lot of also obscure characters that people may not know about, obscure teams. And what better one?
Why they're important and why they're still around and why.
Yeah. Why Mad Dog is the man. Things like that. And we thought, what better way? We're going to start off. We're going to start off this week and next week.
Baxter.
This week and next week with 2 of our favorite characters. So this week we're going to start off. We're going to teach you the history of none other than the great Howard the Duck, and why Chief and I have said for years that Howard is one of the most important characters in the entire Marvel universe.
He served a great purpose at one time.
He really did. So Howard the Duck, and I put the movie out of your brain right now, because that's usually where everybody goes to right off the bat is the fucking movie. And I love the movie. I own it on VHS. I own it on Blu-ray. I own it on DVD. I just need the Laserdisc and maybe some other obscure fucking format.
Is it out there? Have you checked?
I've seen one on eBay. Yeah, I've seen one on eBay, and I didn't pick it up at that point. But Howard the Duck, 1973, debuted. Created by Steve Gerber and Val Myerick in Adventure into Fear number 19, which Adventure into Fear was one of those kind of like anthology books where you'd have a character for a certain amount of time and then another character would take over the series.
Yeah. For instance, Morbius, I think, was took over after Man-Thing, I think, was the one it was the one right after Man-Thing.
Yeah. So he appeared in Adventure into Fear number 19, which was at that point starring Man-Thing. And we all love the Man-Thing.
Especially giant.
Love giant-sized Man-Thing. And the thing is Steve Gerber, who we had to talk about. He was known. He wrote a lot of the weirder books for Marvel. He wrote those things like Man-Thing, Son of Satan. He actually did write Guardians of the Galaxy for a bit. He wrote some Daredevil books.
He wrote an episode of Star Trek, Next Generation.
He wrote stories for the Incredible Hulk. Shauna he wrote Shauna the She-Devil. He wrote 20 issues of Daredevil, 3 issues of Iron Man, 11 issues of Submariner. Monsters Unleashed, Chamber of Chills. He wrote Journey into Mystery. I mean, Gerber wrote a lot of those like weird characters. You know, those weird stories. He also, people who may have followed this guy in Deadpool, he introduced the original Fool Killer. He came up with the original Fool Killer. So that's a little bit of trivia there. But so Avenger of the Fear was running this story where the Man-Thing, there was stuff going on in the Nexus of All Realities.
Yeah.
Now I don't think a lot of people.
Sorry, I was trying to find that episode of Star Trek that he wrote. I was trying to find the title.
Now, Chief, I don't think a lot of people fully understand what the Nexus of All Realities is. They understand, Infinity Stones and things like that, but I don't think they understand the Nexus.
Yeah, well, it's a place in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
The Nexus of All Realities. I think that's the full actual title of it, right? And the Man-Thing is its guardian.
So
and I'm not sure. It's like a portal, and it goes to like all kinds of different places. Though the Man-Thing can manipulate it in order to take you anywhere. It's a portal to wherever you want to go. I think it can be used to travel.
Yeah.
To like any part of the universe.
Yeah, it's kind of like that gateway to all realities. Anything is possible.
They used it recently in a red. I think it was in a Red She-Hulk book. They used it. They went to see the Machine Man, and Red She-Hulk went to the Man-Thing, and they had to use the Nexus and went back to some other time. I think it was actually when the Hulk was attacking or some alternate reality. It can also be like used to go to alternate realities, I think.
Yeah. And to this day, they've never really said who created the Nexus. It's kind of like a waypoint where the multiverse and realities all kind of intersect. And Man-Thing watches it because if the Nexus gets fucked up, everything gets fucked up. The Nexus kind of holds everything kind of together, all those, because otherwise all realities, all parallel universes would kind of start meshing, and things would get real fucked up and weird, and it would be Cronenberg. It'd be Cronenberg more.
It's weird that they don't refer. They've been using they've been doing the Infinity Stone thing for so long. It's like they hardly ever reference it. Aside from that Red She-Hulk story just from a few years back, I don't recall him referencing it at all, like, lately. It's such an important... It used to be really important in a lot of stories back in the day.
Yeah. And that's one of Man-Thing's main things. So, Man-Thing is in the Nexus, and there's multiple characters in the Nexus. Wizards, barbarians... they are all being pulled into the Nexus in this story arc because there's going to be like this big battle. And in the very final pages of 19, comes walking out this little cigar-smoking, at the time, yellow duck. Wearing spats, and he's got a fedora on. And... he's going to be part of this huge battle with the Nexus. Sadly, he ends up falling off the cosmic stairs, which are another thing in the Nexus. And if you fall off the cosmic stairs, they basically say, well, you're kind of fucked. There's no way to save your ass if you fall off the cosmic stairs. But Howard, so he falls off the stairs, and then Howard would then show up in backup stories in Giant Sized Man Thing, because Adventure into Fear 19 was the